In this tutorial, we will see how to work with Amazon Elastic Container Registry. So let's get started and create our first repository. Select private if it's not selected, and give your repository a name. I'll name mine demo. Create the repository. Once it's created, view the push commands in here and open the AWS documentation. And the documentation says that we have to install Docker. I have this instance in here, and it has these port open, port 80, 22, and 3000. Let's connect to the instance. Connect. Once we're connected, it's always good to update the cache. My cache is updating now. The next command will be to install Docker. Okay. Now that the cache is updated, let's install Docker. Y for yes. The next command will be to start the Docker service. So let's copy the command. Now that the Docker is installed, let's start the service. Service is started. The next command will be to add the user to the Docker group so we can use Docker without sudo. Okay, we have to log out, log back in for the last command to work. Now if we do Docker images, we see that, sorry, I mistyped it. We see that we can run the Docker command without sudo, and we don't have any images in here yet. Now let's create a Docker file. If we do ls, we will see the file in here. And let's copy these lines from here and use Vim to edit the file. You can use any editor. Let's save our file and let's clear, do ls and cat to make sure that the content is in the file, and it is there. Now let's build our image. The image is being built. It'll take a few seconds, but once it's done, we can use the Docker images command to check for the image. Then we can run it using this command. I'll copy this from here. Now let's do Docker images. We do have some images in here. Let's run the hello world image. It's running now. You can check it if we copy the public IP for our server and paste it in the browser. We will get hello world. Now what we want to do is use AWS, and to do that we have to first configure it. So let's do Control C and Control L, then let's do AWS configure. I'll pause here and add my credentials. I've added my credentials. Now we will copy this command from here and we will paste it in here. If it works, it means, yeah, it says login succeeded, so my credentials were correct. If you have anything other than login succeeded, then try to configure your AWS again. And now let's build the image. Then let's tag the image. Now that the image is tagged, let's push it to our repository. It's pushing the image to our own repository on AWS ECR. This is it for this server, so let's close it now and let's go to clusters and create a cluster. Select EC2, Next, let's give it a name. I'll name mine Docker test cluster. Scroll down in here, let's do 2 instances and select the key pair, specify the VPC, select some subnets, scroll down, port 80, that's fine. We want to access it using port 80, or let's do 22 in here, and we can edit that later. Create. Now that our cluster is created, let's view the cluster. Let's go to ECS instances. In here we should get 2 instances. We have 1. Refresh until you see the second one. Okay, we have 2 instances. Let's create a task for them. So select EC2. Next, let's name our task. I'll name mine Docker test task. And if we scroll down in here, let's use 300 for the memory and 300 for the CPU, and add a container. In here we will use our own custom image. I'll name it Docker image, and for this one I will duplicate this page, and then I will go to my ECR, so Elastic Container Registry. In here we have our registry. Copy the URL and paste it in here. Let's give it 300 for the hard limit, and the port will be 80, and let's add it. Scroll down and create. Now we have a task, but it's not connected. If we go to our cluster and we check the instances, it has no running tasks. So let's create a service to run the tasks. Create. In here select EC2. It detected the Docker task, and let's give it a name. I'll name it Docker test service. And we want 2 tasks to match the instances, 0 for the minimum healthy present. Scroll down. Next step, we will use the load balancer from the previous tutorial. It's there, but we still have to edit it. So let's go back in here and find the target groups and edit them. Select it, actions, register targets, and we have these 2 instances that we just created with the cluster, and let's include them. Then we can register pending targets. Now they're registered. We can use the same load balancer. So add a load balancer, select this thing, and from here select the target group. Keep everything as is. Next, we will not use a load auto scanning groups, so leave that, and create the service. Once the service is created, view the service and go to tasks. In here, go to instances and make sure that each instance has a task running on it. Now all we have to do is edit the security groups. So let's edit the security groups. We have this security group. Let's refresh, it's not here. This is the one for our cluster. Let's edit the inbound rules and add port 80. Let's add all TCP from the load balancer. Where is the load balancer group? Security group, this is it. Save the roles, and now we can use our load balancer. So copy the DNS from here and paste it in the browser, and you should have the page. If you have something running on the same port, make sure to use a different port. This is it for this tutorial. See you in the next one.